Lucky you!
Best 36 holes in golf.
You tuned in to Alternate Shots Podcast,
Marnie's Army.
where we talk about golf,
Marquis, Sandy's,
poker,
Bond, James Bond.
horse racing,
I'm all in.
great movies.
Alfred Hitchcock.
We have no script.
And down the stretch they come.
We're glad you joined us.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Whoop, let's start again. Billy, what the heck have we been doing the last 90 days? I see we haven't put a podcast up in forever and ever and ever.
Been playing golf, playing poker, watching movies, and betting horses. That's what we do.
Matter of fact, you and I played golf with a few long hitters the other day. That East Course is brutal, isn't it?
Yeah. We played poker with some pretty big hitters also.
Well, I'd say that's what we've been doing for the last 90 days. We've been doing the lower left of the screen here, and I know you've had some pretty interesting endeavors, not the least of which is playing not just Texas Hold'em, but you've been playing Pot Limit Omaha. Why don't you talk about that a little bit too, because some of our folks don't know what that is. It's just...
Well, if you're going to play Pot Limit Omaha, you have to be a bit of a masochist, a big gambler, and have some pretty thick skin, because you're going to get frustrated a lot. Pot Limit Omaha, you get 4 cards, plays like No Limit Hold'em, except you have 4 cards, and you must use 2 of them. That confuses people sometimes. They think, there's 4 diamonds on the board, they have 1 in their hand, but they have to use 2 cards, not 3, not 4, not 1, 2.
Did you understand that, Collier? Did you understand that? You got to use 2 or 2 or 2, not 3, not 4. Just 2, but you must use 2.
2 in your hand and 3 on the board.
You can't use 1.5.
So oftentimes in Pot Limit Omaha, when you flop the nuts, you're in a lot of trouble, because everything
tell
changes.
Me about that. Let's back up a second. Pot Limit Omaha, the dealer deals you how many cards?
4 cards.
Except down in Wilmington, they deal 5, 6, and they play those kind of games.
Yeah,
they
play follow the queen. Deuces and one-eyed jacks. If you want to get off into that, that can happen. But in a serious game, it's 4 cards. The worst 4 cards you can look at in Pot Limit Omaha, the worst 4 down cards is 4 deuces.
Or 4 of any kind, because then
4 of any kind is not good, but 4 deuces is the worst.
You can only use 2 cards, Collier. You can't use all 4 of those 2s or 4 aces.
But you have to use 2 of them. So the best you're going to have is a pair of 2s plus whatever's on the board, what everybody else has.
You just gave me the poker finger. I'll just take it as it goes.
Sorry.
Or you gave the victory. That's the Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
By the way, ad hoc of nothing, it's been bugging me since we had Jay Hill on my couch in Florida. He's eaten all my chocolate chip cookies, and he says, you asked him if there are any X-outs. Remember that question? Are there any X-outs?
Have X-outs are they extinct now?
Billy, that's a great question. So just to give you the metric, we make 1.3 million golf balls per day. We get back annually less than 12 golf balls that are defective.
And we got a good laugh at that, because I'm not ashamed. I played X-outs. Once in a while you'd find them on the golf. I can say sure. I never bought them.
I don't think I ever bought any either, but they weren't the only ones with X-outs. You could get the reject balls all over the place. Sometimes they were in a
Spalding X-outs. The Spalding ball was bad to begin with. It was like not being a snob, but anytime you played with somebody that played once or twice a year, they were playing Spalding Superflight number 4, and there were Spalding Superflight number 4 X-outs. But going back to Jay Hill, we make 1,000,003 titles a day or something like that. That's something like $750 million.
Yeah, and they get 6 back or something like that.
Yeah, but did it ever occur to
2
him?
sleeves.
Yeah, that's two sleeves, but did it ever occur to you how many times after a round of golf you come back with the same balls you played with? So how are you going to redeem your X out Titleist? You don't even have it long enough to know if it is. It's in the pond on 4 East or on the woods on 15 West
Yeah.
or a million places down
So
in
you're
Florida.
saying, so you're saying we just have to take Jay's word for it.
We have to take Jay's word for it. It's like playing poker without cards. Back to poker. That's enough of Jay Hill. So Omaha, so pot limit Omaha, high only, is pot limit Omaha. You just said the dealer said 4 cards goes out to every player. Same thing
Right.
as Hold'em. You get 3 cards on. You bet before the flop. Then the flop is 3 cards. Collier,
Right.
the flop is 3 cards. Then you bet, and then there's a turn 1 card and a river 1 card, and there's betting all along the way.
Right.
But what I learned is that the hand values are much wider when you have 4 cards. People are going to gamble
Because
much wider.
it's in a way, it's like you're two different players at a no limit game. You could have, say you have ace, king, 7-6 in your hand, suited or not suited. You know, you're in the hand because you have the ace and the king, and the flop comes 3, 4, 5. Well, all of a sudden your focus goes from ace, king to your 6, 7. You know, that's how easily it is to change. Even the hand you think you're going to play turns out to be your second best hand.
Yeah, so
It's a crazy game, and the unlike Hold'em, a strong hand in Hold'em is not a strong hand in pot limit Hold'em. 3 of a kind is not a strong hand in Omaha. A straight,
it must have been
maybe.
like 100 years ago when golfers went from playing metal play, you know, with the sand tees and the Scottish guy carrying your bag into the wind both ways and 36 holes, and they
Right.
decided to play match
and
play.
your flask.
Yeah, now they're playing match play, just like pot limit Omaha. Once you play that game, it's hard to play anything else. Everybody's playing match play in golf. Not everybody, but the lion's share of people, that's their game. Now pot limit Omaha, because of the gambling aspect, has everybody hooked.
Yeah, and the table makeup in pot limit Omaha is critical because the last week when I was up at the Mohegan Sun, I sat in a game, and the guy on my left, Nick, raised pot every hand pre-flop, every hand. So by the time it gets back around, if somebody's repotted, you know, there, in my opinion, there's no hand good enough in pot limit Omaha to raise twice.
Yeah.
Once you've done that, sight unseen, no flop yet, what you're doing is decreeing, I'll gamble. I'll toss a coin with you. The other hand, if you get in a game where people have I'm not going to say a deeper understanding, but a more, a less aggressive approach, more people are seeing flops, the game can be very much fun at that point. But some of the savvy guys will buy in cheap, so they won't have to risk everything when Nick makes it repots everything, and you know they're sitting there with ace king of diamonds, ace king of clubs, and it's $400 to see a flop.
That's right. And you just have to go to Lodge Poker live stream. There's a poker room down in Austin, Texas. A couple of the bloggers own that. And you watch the Omaha game there. Just about every Omaha game is all in. Sometimes it's all in even before the flop or at the flop. And I say the way you play Omaha is like my sister plays poker. She plays with 6 or 7 ladies, and they play 25 cent, 50 cent. And nobody folds. Nobody folds. They play whatever game they play. Okay, it's a quarter. Amy, it's a quarter. Put it in. Put a quarter in. So 7 quarters are in, or 8 players. There's $2 in before any cards are dealt after you're, you know. So whatever game you're playing, follow the queen, jacks are better. Everybody's in. Very few people raise. Why? They want to see the next cards.
They want to play cards. Yeah. But you know, again, when you're talking, you know, hard-nosed Omaha players, they'll steal pots. They'll put pressure on you all day long. They're going to be there for a long time, and they figure Some percentage of these hands that they're raising pre-flops, they'll have to fold, and others they won't. But for someone who's just sort of visiting the game, it's not fun to get at a table like that because you're going to just fold all day or lose your money quick.
Well, back at the casino, which is in my background here, that must be the Vegas skyline. But Mohegan Sun, we were up there recently, and you play a lot of poker when you go to a poker room, whether it's in Vegas or
You played 15 hours in 2 days, right?
oh, shh, don't tell everybody. Oh, you did. Yeah, I played a lot of poker. Well, it's kind of like if you go out to Las Vegas to the Butch Harmon golf camp, you're on that golf course the whole day. Why you want to learn? And I go up there to learn. So the other thing you find out by playing that much is the personalities of people. Some
Yeah.
people are fun. Some people are kind of annoying. There's in between. There's people that don't say anything, like Backpack Brian.
Unlimited characters.
Unlimited characters. So after a while, you get this, you sort of have a target on somebody's head. And I was playing, you remember, I got moved to that table closer to where you cash out your chips or the cage. And I was looking at these two guys. One guy was pretty annoying because he talked all the time. Another guy wasn't annoying. He was a good player. So I had him in my target to keep an eye out for him. It's like watching for a torpedo coming at you because he was so good. So no torpedoes came at me, but I was watching his torpedo shoot, and I wanted to make sure he wasn't going to put me in his sights. And we get a game.
Right.
Now this is a straight flush behind us here, but Broadway is the same 5 cards: Ace, King, Queen, Jack, 10. And I was lucky enough to have the King, Queen in the middle. The Ace and 10 came on the flop, all different suits. It wasn't a straight flush. And I got further lucky saying, Jack, on the turn. We're playing Hold'em, and the 4th card came up, the Jack of Hearts. And these guys were betting into me, and I said, you know what? I'm going to let them bet into me. There was very little chance I was going to lose this hand. And
Yeah, if the board doesn't pair, you can't lose it. Yep.
and I'm watching Mr. Torpedo launcher at me, the first seat to my left. He's the guy drawing the action, and the river comes nothing, 6 of spades or something, and he throws $50 at me. The real annoying guy pushes the action immediately. He raises it to 100, and then I'm doing my, Cary Grant acting routine, playing around
Hollywood.
and so forth. But I also was thinking, how much would this guy call? Because it was apparent these guys either had 3 of a kind or 2 pair. They could have had the same
Sometimes
hand.
that's a perfect opportunity to annoy the guy enough that he calls out of, spite.
Yeah, and as I said to you, Mr. Torpedo aimer at me, the really good young professional. I started going for my chips. He said, "Uh-oh," I heard him. I don't think Mr. Annoying Guy heard him because he was wearing a face covering. I'll just leave it at that. I don't know why
Yeah.
you wear a face covering, but it was hard to understand him enough, and I don't think he could hear it. Yeah. Anyway, so I put three reds. Mumbles. Anyway, it's like I put 3 red stacks out. I figured that would do it. The guy on my left, torpedo launcher, immediately folded. He said, "I know what you got." And then the guy, I couldn't look at the guy because he literally put me on, he cooled me for like 4 or 5 minutes. And I think he was moving his chips forward, back, see if I have any reaction. I was just looking down at the chips like I'd be looking down at this lay behind us.
A dead stare. Yep.
And finally he called and I'm like, "Did you call?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, I got the nuts."
Yeah. Thank you.
And then he got up
Mind
and
if I
did a
take a
few.
breath now? Yeah.
He did a few pirouettes, couldn't believe his bad luck and so forth. But that's poker. You see these guys all the time. Most of the time when guys put a raise in on you, very, very, very few of the guys are bluffing.
You have to be in a hand where if somebody's going to bluff, you have to know a bluff by this person makes a lot of sense here. So you end up in a position where there's one of two things: either he's got nothing, or he's got you killed. So that's the only time those guys are going to bluff, when it's the same play as it would be if he had the best hand.
Exactly. In the case of the hand I just said, there were 2 hearts through 4 cards on the board. So if a third heart comes, well, then you could assume your opponent is trying to draw at something. And if he makes a big bet, it's either a bluff and he got the flush and your straight's no good, or he's just seeing if you're paying attention to his story, right? And exactly, that's a good time to bluff.
I bluff once in a while.
But you had one up in
Sometimes you
Mohegan
have to.
Sun. You were bluffing against the big guns up there.
Yeah, I got away with it. I actually, every time I bluffed the last trip, the trip we went, I got away with every one of them. But when I say every one of them, there might have been 4.
Right. You weren't going to bluff every hour. You probably
Well,
bluffed.
you know, I had a run of good cards too, so there was a lot of times I didn't have to bluff.
Yeah.
I love
They were-
that. It makes you look like a real good player, and you're in a good mood. Pocket kings, and it comes a king high flop rainbow. It's like, thank you very much. Love that. Board pairs, puts 2 clubs on the board. River's a club, gives the guy the nut flush against your full house. You know, that's the kind of thing you go there for.
But let's put it in perspective. If anybody's seen the movie Rounders, when Matt Damon comes into the judge game and he calls everybody's hand out
Yeah,
because he's that good a poker player. Those are
Yeah.
the guys you're sitting down with. You're playing with you know, 3/4 of a Daniel Negreanu or a Phil Ivey type guys. They play thousands of hands a week, and that you're playing John Rahm or you're playing Xander Schauffele pretty much when you go up there and sit down with him.
these guys, you know, Teddy, who we've talked about, has, you know, cashed in World Series of Poker tournaments. You know, they're not all. He has the ability, but cards are cards. You know, no matter how good you are, no matter how good your opponents are, there's going to be times, you know, whether you're just cold decked and there's nothing you can do about it, or you're cool, or you know, you flop the nuts and then it goes runner and beats you. There's really nothing you can do about that, except, you know, get the next deal, keep going. And that's what those guys are good at. They, you know, they make a mistake or they make a play that they get caught with, you know, with their hand in the cookie jar. They lose 1,200 on the hand. They'll win it back before the night is over and then some. It's just part of their repertoire. The money is, I don't know if this is completely accurate, but the way it looks is like their money is ammunition, and it doesn't turn into money till they get up and leave.
That's
So-
right.
That's it. It's just, this is what their tool of the game is, and they're trying to build it to be like a cannon. You know, and on the way, sometimes they run out of bullets and they have to, you know, get reinforcements, and sooner or later they have an atom bomb again, and you know, like I say, it turns into money when they go to the cashier, not before that.
Yeah.
But normal
now you-
people like us, it's like, oh my God, I lost $100.
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Well, you said the important thing, they make a mistake. If there's lots of chips in front of them, the odds are they didn't make any mistakes that night. When they had kings against a guy who had aces or a gal who had aces,
Or
they're
they
folding.
were willing to use some of their ammo. They built it up to 3,000. They'll throw 300 in a pot trying to steal a $600 or $800 pot. Didn't work. So
Right.
what? They'll get it back.
Or they'll call for that bit of information. That's
Right. That
know,
it's worth the
5
300
or
to
10%.
find out. Yeah.
5 or 10% of their stack is worth way more in information on a player. Because what do? Do you ever show your cards?
Never.
Never.
You know, I say that every now and then you get to like a sort of a friendly table and people are goofing around, and you know, everybody's kind of showing, or you know, that's different. But when I'm in a serious game with some of those guys, zero, never, unless I'm called. No, I'm not good enough to let them learn anything about me.
Right.
And if they
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
saw that some of the bluffs that I have done, they would. There's a group of these guys that think I'm playing ace king and ace ace and king king, you know, 10 jack suited.
Let them keep thinking that.
Yeah, every now and then I'm sticking a 3-5 of diamonds in there and hoping for the best. And you know, if you hit it, great, and if you don't, and you bluff, you get it. It's almost better. But I don't
Yeah,
want them to know I play the 3-5 of diamonds sometimes, even when I'm under the gun. It's different if there's, you know, $20, 6 guys in front of you. Sure, play the 3-5 of diamonds. you win the hand and you show them you play the 3-5 of diamonds, they'll understand that you were the sixth guy in with the 3-5 of diamonds.
Yeah.
When you're under the gun and you're playing the 3-5 of diamonds, they're going like,
That's a little gutsy.
yeah,
But
what are you
that's it.
doing?
But that's the other thing. They know you're under the gun, which means small blind, big blind. You're the first guy to bet, and the dealer comes to you, and you got your 3-5 of diamonds. In
And you
your
throw
game,
20 bucks out there.
and you throw 20 bucks out there. Now people are thinking you're playing the ace, king, kings, or king, queen, or something
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
And they're calling you. And then a crap flop, what does Bob Aaron say? Queen, little, little. You know,
Yeah.
a crap flop comes out. You've got 3-5 of diamonds, and a 4-6 of diamonds comes out there, and you got the world. And you're going to
Right.
bet $50, and somebody's got the queen with the little, little. And they're going to call you, and then when another diamond comes up, they won't believe it, especially if it's a 2 or 6 of diamonds. You got
Yeah,
the
no,
straight
exactly.
flush. A hand that you would show is supposing you got ace king, and you made it $20, and 3 guys called you, and you know that's not a lot for your game, right? You're looking for
No.
400 or 500, or maybe bigger pots than that. So you've got
Yeah.
$40 or $60 in the pot. It's not, and then the dealer goes ace, ace, king. No one's going to call your bet. So if you put $10 out there, everybody folds. At that point, you're going to show. You're going to show
Yeah.
them. And so, where's the rest of my pot? Where's
Yeah.
my pot? I should have a big pot for this hand. It's a full house.
Right. Well, the value in something like that is you're not really giving them any information they didn't already have because they don't care what you have anymore.
Right.
They put you on a better hand than they have. However, by showing it in a situation like that, which would be a rare exception to never showing it, the next time ace, ace, king comes up and you bet 20 bucks, they're going to fold again. Probably you could have 4 or 5 that time.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So we've been playing cards. We talked about door knock. We picked door knock in the Belmont, which was run at the Saratoga.
I'm picking him in the Travers again. The Travers is going to be a great race this year. That's in a couple of weeks, the 26th or something like that of August. It's going to be a great race because the favorite might be a filly, Torpedo Anna, who's just destroying all the 3-year-old filly races this year. She's in a class by herself, along the lines of Rachel Alexander and Zenyatta when they were running. I don't think she's as good as them yet, but maybe, we don't know. But she's running against the boys, and that'll be Dornock, it'll be Fierceness, it'll be Sierra Leone. There are going to be a bunch of great horses of 3-year-olds running in that Travers this year. It's going to be a great race.
Have you bet on Dornock since the Belmont? Has Dornock showed up at some other tracks?
Yeah, he showed up at the gym, was at the Haskell in Monmouth and won that. Yeah, I think Dornock is the real thing. I think he always has been the real thing. He got some bad breaks. He ran, he shanked a couple, but he seems to have found his swing. And the last 2 races, he got challenged big time and didn't quit. So right now, that's where I'm leaning, Dornock. I don't think we've seen the best of him.
Yeah. One of the things I've been doing in the off season here for us, I've been watching the HBO show Hard Knocks on the Giants. It's really fascinating to see the inner workings of the general manager and the coaches and
right. I haven't seen any of it, but people have told me about it. And I know the Giants, they're going to let you see some stuff. They're not going to let you see everything.
Well, yeah, we're watching it now, and the trades and the draft and Saquon, all that's gone. But the general manager and the coach were sitting under that blue awning over there when I was at Wingfoot the other day.
Shane and Dable.
Yeah, and
Shane and Dable, not to be confused with Cain and Abel. The Blacklist.
Yeah, if you want to watch something, I can't watch The Blacklist because it's about a serial killer. Well, the Giants have to get that way if they're going to win. We'll see if Daniel Jones can bring them up. But
I don't know if you haven't watched The Blacklist. I'd give it a try. It's James Spader. It's 10 seasons of this show. James Spader, proves what a great actor he is. He's a very enjoyable character.
Wasn't he drinking buddies with William Shatner in Boston Legal or something like that? That show years ago. They used to sit on the terrace at the end. He was a kid.
He was in Wall Street. He was the lawyer, the inside trader lawyer.
This has been great. I did enjoy my trip to Wingfoot. Got to play almost 10 times. Found the rough 90% of the time. The fairway, my goodness, it's like you're walking on water when you're able to hit the fairway at Wingfoot. Just so people know, on the West Course at least, and I'm kind of sure it's like that on the East Course, the fairway widths, our US Open widths, were anywhere from 26, 28 yards to 32, 33 yards.
Yeah.
The rough is just as hard as the US Open. That was at Wingfoot in 2020. Who knows?
Well,
what
not
it'll be
only are the
like.
fairways narrow, as I was talking about this at lunch today with Bart McDade, Emmett Ryan, Ben Harvey. And they made the point, and they're right, that they're not only narrow, but even when you hit them, they're hard enough that the ball can run through them and, hop out of them. So, yeah,
Or if
but
it's
Bart
down-
hits a low line drive, so, he gets 20 or 30 yards of roll out of it.
Bart was
He's
the
a good
first-
player.
Bart was the first guy, I played with him a million times, many, many times as we were kids. First guy I ever saw hit both 4 East and 12 West. And he hit it with a 6-iron. He hit it in the right rough. He was a big swimmer, so he had a huge shoulder turn, strong back, and he probably hit a 6-iron 225, and
Wow.
maybe had a little bit of a rough going with him, flyer, but he hit it over it. Back then there were the willow trees on 4 East, so you had to hit it high enough. And on 12 West, we're going to talk about 12 West in our next episode. He hit it over the hill into the rough, so he had to hit a high draw, and he put that on the green too. And it's the first time I'd seen anybody do that.
16 East today, he hit it to like here and 2,
Wow.
maybe 8
Well,
inches.
Well, this is great. We haven't gone off the rails here. We just got busy. We got busy
Yeah,
with cards.
and we only covered, 30% of what we've been doing. So after we tell them all about 11 and 12 West, maybe we recap some of the movies we've seen and things like that going forward.
We're back. And by the way, we've had a lot of success this summer at horse racing.
Yeah.
I didn't have a losing. I don't think I lost on the golf course over at Wingfoot in the little $20 closeouts. I lost the press on one. The poker was good.
Yeah,
You're right.
I'm hoping that the 7th race at Saratoga, which is going off right now, I hope I'll have a winner in this race.
Who won? Who won? Photo. Photo? Who was the photo?
I'm sure glad I decided not to bet.
Ladies and gentlemen, please note
You
that
didn't
the
bet?
first any sign
I
is
would've had a heart
imminent.
attack.
Please hold all
You know, that's why I only bet $2 on the longest shot there is, so I don't get my heart broke.
Please hold all
Why is it on so long?
Why are you laughing?
Well, at least we have the laugh to add at the end. That's what happened. Somebody changed my grip, and the next thing you know, I can't do the podcast anymore. I felt like I was in the first row of the first pew at church right during the sermon.
And your brother was poking
My
you.
brother was making me laugh.